On this delightful evening, it is my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to an international webinar on artificial intelligence for ASTEAM interventions, organized by Department of Computer Applications, Nandha Arts and Science College. The pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist expect it to change. The leader adjusts the sails. I like to invite our Honorable Principal, Dr. Kobalakrishnan sir, to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here on this occasion to inaugurate the proceedings of the seminar on artificial intelligence for autism intervention. At the outset, I welcome Dr. Sangeeta Krishnan, Associate Professor, University of Africa at Nigeria, and other participating members maybe handful of participants. I'm sure this is going to be a kind of a highly interactive session in which Madam Sangeeta Krishnan will be deliberating on the latest technological interventions for real world application. Maybe children with autism need to be developed. Keeping that in mind, we have limited the participation. Even sometimes I have given a permission to go ahead with the seminar, even if it's going to be single digit. And I believe we have a good number of participants across the country, not only from Erode, across the country, we have good number of participations. And now we have around 20 participants. I wholeheartedly welcome these participants for this wonderful session. Apart from that, the Department of Computer Science or Computer Applications of Nandha Arts and Science have done a commendable job in bridging some of the maybe knowledge gaps in the industry. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, Internet of Things, and robotic process automation, all such things, maybe new words which really I don't know the meaning, but all my colleagues around me have made me to learn all such words in this pandemic situation, and which is going to be the rule of the day. In that count, I appreciate the efforts of the department, particularly the heads and members of the department, and I wish that their journey of bridging the gap, the knowledge gap, should continue, and they have to reach many more laurels in the near future. Once again, I welcome Dr. Sangeeta and all other participants. Thank you for the opportunity. I wish a fruitful and learning session for all of you. Wish you all the best. Thank you, madam. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Chief guest profile. The atmosphere appears to be very electric. Everyone is quite excited to present their views. I would like to inviting our today's Camino, Dr. Sangeeta, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematical and Computer Science, University of Africa, Nigeria, who has published 20 articles in international journals and also presented 12 papers in international conference and 6 papers in various national conference. Her research field includes digital image in painting, artificial intelligence, and machine learning and neural networks. Now, she is guiding 3% in the area of artificial to have been successfully published by Intellectual Property Office. She has 20 years of experience and worked as an associate dean for Faculty of Technology at Academic City College, Ghana, from March 2016 to March 2018. She interested to preparing proposals for funding agencies, application process, training of curriculum, regulations, and syllabus for undergraduate and postgraduate degree programmers, and reviewer for various international journals and conferences, and external PhD thesis, assessor for multiple top universities. We are glad to have you with us on this occasion. Before we get started, let me throw some light on purpose of organizing this webinar. Dear participants, the observe of technologies has revolutionized our lives. The ever-increasing concern for maximizing the output and minimizing the waste has been the matter of discussion all over the world, and today so. We have organized this event to introduce some valuable thoughts on this effective topic. We kindly welcome you, ma'am, to take over this webinar. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Savita. Thank you for the nice.
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Okay, thank you so much. I welcome all the participants to this webinar. Let me take this opportunity of Nandha Arts and Science College, the principal, Dr. M. Kopalakrishnan, the head of department, Ms. S. N. Santalakshmi, the coordinators, Mr. S. Karthik and for this webinar. Thank you for giving this wonderful platform to interact with you guys. The topic for my today's session is artificial intelligence for autism interventions. I hope you all are familiar with the terms autism. So in my presentation, I'm going to take you into two different parts. In the first part, I'm going to give you an overview of artificial intelligence, the real-time examples in daily life, and major fields of artificial intelligence like machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, etc. Then, after that, in the second part, I'm going to take you guys to the introduction of autism in children and how AI is going to screen and as well as diagnose the autism in children, not only in children, in any age group of people who have autism. If you see in America, 1 in 59 children has autism, but this case is just 1 in 160 children when it was in the year 2000. So now it is increasing. According to WHO report, 1 in 160 children globally has autism. Why I have taken this particular disease in the healthcare industry. Please let me give 1 minute. I want to share my presentations. Are you guys able to my slide? Are you guys able to my slide? Okay. Okay. These are all the contents that we are going to see in our webinar. What is artificial intelligence? AI examples in everyday life, understanding AI with its elements, major fields of AI, classification of AI, applications of AI in healthcare, AI for autism interventions. Under this AI for autism interventions, we are going to see about how we are going to recognize autism in children and what is the role of psychology behind autism detection, screening and diagnosing autism using robots and mobile-based applications. So what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think like humans and mimic their actions. Simply, we can say that it's mimic of or human intelligence. So there are a lot of definitions in the context. A examples in everyday life. Can you guys say some examples in everyday life? You can type your answers in the text box. Let me see. Some real-time AI examples. I'm expecting some response from participants. Yeah, robotics in surgery. Yes. Yes. Smartphones, fine. Amazon using AI, very good. Yes, please be interactive. I'm expecting more from you guys. Okay, fine. So whenever you are seeing that artificial intelligence, so you can say so many examples that are around your world. Let me show you the slides. You can go through this. There are some chat boxes and some entertainment tools like Netflix and YouTube, and as well as automobile industries, virtual assistants, video games like Far Cry, PUBG, etc. So, what is chatbots? Do you have any idea about chatbots? So, chatbots is a simple automated service that can instantly respond to clients' operations, and it helps them to solve their issues. So, in other words, we can say that it is used for customer relationship management. So, next, if you see about the virtual assistants like Siri, Alexa, Cortana, you can say that these are all voice assistants, and simply you can say these are all software agents that can interpret human speech and respond via voices. You can say Apple's Siri, Amazon's Alexa, Microsoft's Cortana are examples. So if you go for Google product, Google Assistant is best example. Then there are some games, artificial based games. Here I have quoted one game, Far Cry. So at very first in the year March 2004, the game was introduced. And later on in the year 2019, Far Cry 5 version was released, and Far Cry 6 version is going to be released in the year 2020. Then all, you know it, but they are fully, it's a mainstream electric car better than the gasoline car. So if you see the advantage, the interior space of the car is great because of absence of the engine and transmission and fuel tank. So if you see some other examples like entertainment, hope you all are familiar with that Netflix and YouTube. So how AI plays its role behind the background of Netflix and YouTube. So everyone knows that these two tools are entertainment tool, and we are using it in everyday life, right? So especially during this lockdown period, everyone is engaged with their smartphones and watching videos and watching these recommendations. Yes, you are able to know what I'm going to trying to say. Netflix uses artificial intelligence to help their algorithms learn without human assistance. So, machine learning gives the platform the ability to automate millions of decisions based on user activities. With a report, 158 million subscribers around the world. The platform brings in millions in revenue just per quarter. So next, YouTube. Again, the AI plays behind its background. So every minute, creators upload 300 hours of video to the platform. So with this number of users, activity, and content, it makes sense for YouTube to take advantage of the power of artificial intelligence to help operations. I hope you all are aware of the up next feature in YouTube, right? So how does it work? So since the data set on YouTube is constantly changing as users upload every minute, the AI required to power its recommendation engine. So this comes with two solutions. The first is candidate generation, where the algorithm assesses the YouTube history of the user. The second part is a ranking system that assigns a score to each video. Let me move on to the next slide. Understanding AI with its elements. Actually, AI includes the simulation of human intelligence by machines and special computer systems. So there are three elements of AI: learning, reasoning, and problem solving. So what is learning and its types? It is the action of acquiring knowledge and skill development from various sources like true incidents of life, books, experiences being taught by some experts, etc. The learning enhances a person's knowledge in the field thereof. There are different types of learning: audio speech learning, linear learning, observational learning, perceptual learning, relational learning, and spatial learning. So let's see one by one. Audio speech learning is based on the process when some teacher is delivering lecture, then the audible students hear it, memorize it, and then use it for gaining knowledge. The linear learning is based on memorizing the array of events that a person has been encountered and learned from it. Observational learning means learning by observing behavior. For example, a small child can observe few people and it will learn to speak and it will improve its behavior. This is a best example for observational learning. The next one, perceptual learning. It is based on learning by identifying and classifying the visuals and objects and memorize them. Relational learning is based on learning from past incidences and mistakes and makes effort to improve them. Spatial learning means to learn from visuals like images, audio, or video, maps, pictures, which will people in creating an image of those in mind whenever it is needed for future reference. So there are basically 6 types of learning, which plays the major role in every part of AI field, whether it is machine learning field or deep learning. Second element of artificial intelligence is reasoning. I hope most of the people are familiar with this fundamental concept of AI, but anyhow, I just want to brief about it. Reasoning, it is the procedure that facilitates us to provide the basic criteria and guidelines for making a judgment or a predictions. There are 2 types of reasoning: generalized reasoning and logical reasoning. So generalized reasoning means it's based on general observed statements. So in this case, sometimes the conclusion can be false. But in the case of logical reasoning, it is based on facts and figures. In other words, I can say that it is based on specific statements mentioned and observed incidents. So the conclusion is correct and logical in this kind of case. Let's see the third element of artificial intelligence. It's the process of identifying the cause of the problem and to find out a possible word to solve the problem. So this problem solving is done by analyzing the problem, decision making, and then finding out more than one solution to reach the final and best solution. So the final motto in this case is to find the best solution out of all the available ones to achieve the best results for the problem solving with minimum time period. Let's move on to major subfields of AI. Can you say some major fields of artificial intelligence? Participants, can you say some examples for major fields of artificial intelligence? I'm looking for your response from chat box. The principal sir has highlighted so many major fields of artificial intelligence. I'm not asking about applications of AI. I'm asking about the major fields of artificial intelligence. Yes, please. So what are all the subfields of artificial intelligence? IQ, okay. Any other answer? I'm asking about some terminologies. Actually, I gave you some clue. Dr. Gopalakrishnan, the principal has highlighted some fields. These are all subfields of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is not a single field. It has many subfields. You all are familiar with those fields. I'm expecting at least one response, one field. Machine learning, very good, Suresh. Yes. You're right. Deep learning, excellent. Yes, come on, guys. I'm expecting one more response. Robotics. So, okay, robotics is an example where we are using AI. Okay, let me continue my presentation. So these are all the major subfields. So two persons have given the two fields like machine learning and deep learning. So neural networks, natural language processing, computer vision, cognitive computing. In general, if you see some context or textbooks, they normally used to say only two major fields, machine learning and deep learning. So under the deep learning, they will say neural networks. But in order to explain the autism intervention, I want to give you an overview for these six major subfields of AI. Not only these six fields, AI has so many subfields. Here we are going to see some brief about six fields. So what is machine learning? It's a feature of AI that provides the computer with the capability to automatically gather data and learn from the experience of the problems they have encountered. This is in the healthcare industry, where it is used for diagnosis of the disease, medical scan, interpretation, etc. Not only in a healthcare industry, it is used in everywhere. But here I have wanted to quote the healthcare industry. So pattern recognition, I hope you all are familiar with this term. It is a subfield of machine learning. So it can be described as the automatic recognition of blueprint from the raw data using computer algorithms. So here a pattern can be persistence data over time, which is used to predict a sequence of event. Or even you can say patterns can be a particular characteristics of features of images to identify objects. So in some other cases, say for example, it can be a recurring combination of words and sentence for language assistance. And it can be some kind of collection of actions of people in any network, which can indicate some social activity and many more things. So this is called pattern. Okay, let's see some steps in pattern recognition. So these are all the five major steps in pattern recognition: data acquisition and sensing. So it includes the collection of raw data, bandwidth, resolution, etc. Then second step, pre-processing of input data. So this includes filtering out the unwanted data like noise from the input source, and it is done through signal processing. So who are familiar with digital image processing, they are well know about this pre-processing. They can easily analyze the noise of input. For example, if you have an image and it has some noise, noise means some unwanted things, maybe some dots and etc. Then that can be excluded by doing the pre-processing. Then third one, feature extraction. So it is important one. So various algorithms are carried out like pattern matching algorithm to find the matching pattern as required in terms of features. Then fourth one, classification. It is based on output of the previous algorithms carried out, and various models learn to get the matching pattern. The class is assigned to the pattern. Then the last step, post-processing. So this is used to get the final expected output. So the pattern recognition is used in the identification and authentication processes like voice-based recognition and facial authentication. In excuse me, in defense system, PR is used for target recognition and navigation guidance. Excuse me. Then second, so far we have seen learning. Then second one, deep learning. It is the process of learning by processing and analyzing the input data by several methods until the machine discovers the single desirable output. It is also known as self-learning of the machines. The machine runs various random programs and algorithms to map the raw sequence of input data and output. So this deep learning will witness all possible human characteristics and behavioral databases and will perform supervised learning. So for example, detection of different kinds of human emotions and signs, identifying animals by images, marks or features, recognition of speech, memorize them, conversion of video and voice into text, identification of right or wrong gestures, classify spam things, and fraud cases. So, I have given what kind of task a deep learning can do. So, can you say some example for deep learning in real time example? Yes, please. Deep learning. Blockchain. Actually, blockchain, I'm asking some real time examples where we are using deep learning. I how deep place it all of text, voice recognition, etc. So I'm expecting some examples. Screen readers, okay. Algo trading in share market, okay. Well done, Mr. Suresh. Yeah, okay, fine. So let me say you some examples. There are very good examples. So if you see your email, you can see the classification in your inbox like primary, social, and what you call spam emails, right? So these things are done by deep learning. Another example is speech recognition in smartphones. So, which will allow you to understand a different kind of accent of speaker and convert it into meaningful speech. Hope you guys understand. Then neural networks. The neural networks are the brain of AI. They are the computer systems which are the replica of the neural connections in the human brain. The artificial corresponding neurons of the brain are known as perceptrons. So, you know the structure of the neural networks: input layer, hidden layers, and output layers. The deep learning in association with artificial neural networks is able to handle and manage the unlabeled and unstructured data in the world, which is spread all over in the fields and countries. It has classified and characterized the unnamed raw data which were in the files of artificial neural networks. So example is handwriting recognition, face and digital signature recognition, missing pattern identification are some real-time examples. So cognitive computing. The purpose of this component of AI is to initiate and speed up interaction for complex task completion and problem solving between humans and machines. It can make a product that will be having human like actions and can also have data handling capabilities. So, example for this kind of cognitive computing is the very big, well known example is Google Assistant. Then, natural language processing. With this feature of AI, computers can interpret, identify, locate, and process human language and speech. The NLP focus on both verbal and written section of human languages. Can you guys say some example for NLP? So there are translators that convert one language into another language, right? That is an example for NLP. And voice assistants and voice search missing. These are all example for cognitive NLP, natural language processing. Then sixth part is computer vision. This is very vital part of AI as it facilitates the computer to automatically recognize, analyze, and interpret the visual data from the real world images and visuals by capturing and interpreting. Operates the skills of deep learning and pattern recognition to extract the content of images from any data given, including PDF format or Word document, Excel, etc. So, can you say some example for computer vision? Because nowadays, this computer vision plays a major role during this pandemic period. You guys know a very good example. Spell check, okay. Example for computer vision technology. So where we are using computer vision with the help of artificial intelligence. So even you can say some history, the MRI scan, X-ray, etc. Then robots is an example for this computer vision technology. And you all know about drones, right? Nowadays, they are using to identify the people, those who are roaming on the road during lockdown period, right? So the drones have the computer vision technology. Let me move on to next slide. So classification of AI. So far we have seen elements of artificial intelligence and the major fields of and real-time examples for each and every field of artificial intelligence. So we can classify based on that into 5 major categories: analytic AI, functional AI, interactive AI, text AI, visual AI. So hope you people are seeing my slide. So these examples we have already seen. Let me move on to next one. Applications of AI. So healthcare industry is the first one. then business for smoothing overall process, then in the field of education for automating grading systems, then travel industry for predicting price pattern, fields for advanced features, social media for serving personalized experience. So whatever the examples we have seen, we can classify into this kind of 6 major fields. This is my first part, introduction about artificial intelligence, and it's over. Let's move on to the second major part, which is AI in healthcare. So, how artificial intelligence is used in healthcare? So, it is used to detect diseases and used to prescribe some medicines for patients, etc. So many fields, even it is used to identify cancers. So many diseases we can highlight. Here, particularly, I want to talk about the autism field. So, what is the advantage of healthcare? So, AI-enabled virtual assistants are reducing unnecessary hospital visits and giving nurses 20% of their time back in the process. Workflow assistants are helping doctors free up 70% of their schedules. AI is even being used to help bring healthcare to underdeveloped countries. As of now, you can say that artificial intelligence is widely used in developed countries where the robots and everything are very cost effective. So, but this technique will bring to healthcare even in underdeveloped nations. So these are all some example fields where we can use AI in health industry. So for disease identification, smart electronic health is smart electronic health records, personalized prediction, clinical trial research, and radiotherapy. So these are some fields where we in healthcare industry. Then what are all the advantages of using AI in healthcare? There's 5 major advantages. The first thing, it improves patient diagnosis. Second thing, increase level of caring, especially in the case of autism. It gives the most care compared with human being. Then it saves cost. And 5, first time right diagnosis. It is very important. We can get first time right diagnosis when we are using artificial intelligence in the particular healthcare field. So we can say the applications of 4 major fields: diagnostics, therapeutics, population health management, and administration and regulations. So recognizing in autism in children. So how we are going to recognize autism in children? Hope you all are familiar with this autism disability, and you might see some children around you, those are suffering from autism, right? So this is a developmental disability caused in autism. By definition, can only be diagnosed if symptoms appear before age 3. Normally, this diagnosis will be done when the kid or the child is between 8 months old to 30 months. So we have to identify the autism before the age 3. Otherwise, it will continue to their lifetime. Yes, there are some circumstances in which autism is diagnosed in teens or adults, but the average age of diagnosis between ages. So, how do you identify that a children have autism? In general, it is not possible to say by seeing the appearance of a child that this child has an autism, because by having a single symptoms or by having a single signs, we cannot define that the child has autism. It may lead to some other disease. So we have to identify whether a child has autism autism or not. Very challenging one to diagnose whether the child is having autism. And you see, even if some child has autism qualities, the parents are not ready to label it on the child unless otherwise they have the confirmation at the later stage. So it is required to identify the autism in early stage. So let's see what are all the common qualities in autism children. Can you guys say some characteristics of autism children? Hope you all know you come across some autism children in your life, right? Can you say some characteristics of autism children? How they behave or how they used to interact with you guys? There are some characteristics you can classify. Reserved, okay. Mr. Suresh is very slow learner, very good. He's brave. Have restricted and repeated, very good. This repetitive behavior is the best example for autism. Then anything else? Social interaction. Interaction means whether they are good in social interaction or poor. Take Makendra. Poor eye contact, very good. Yeah, poor, excellent. So you all are very familiar with the common characteristics of the children, right? Okay. Let me go back to my presentation. So if you Google and see the symptoms of autism, it will give you some words. I don't want to use those kind of words. So let's use the terms like this. Children with autism almost always have some kind of speech difference. Somebody has quoted in the chat box. Very good. Then, children with autism always have social communication difficulties. Guys, see that. Then, most children with autism have some kind of sensory dysfunctions. Yes, it means I can quote something. Some child have sensitive to lights or sometimes noise. Even for small kind of noise, they will get anxiety. Children with autism often move differently from other children. Yes, of course. Because, for example, if you see the normal child at the age of 12 months or 18 months, you can see that they used to suck their thumb or they bite their nails. But if you see the autism children, they will do different behaviors. For example, they will flap their hands and they will run on their toes, not by foot. They will run on their toes and back forth. And they will be stiffy with their hands held or run with a difficult posture. So these are all some examples. Autistic kids behave differently from typical peers. Yes, already I have quoted, but here, what is the difference means? For example, if a child feels hungry, if a normal child feels hungry, it will express it. But the autism children don't have that kind of feeling. Even if they feel hungry, they don't know how to express their hungriness. Then behaviors are also different. Then children with autism have difficult from other children. So these are all the some examples. So hope you all familiar with this. So I don't want to go further with this kind of explanation. So why it is important to recognize autism in children? Because I already told you guys, as of now, in the year 2020, if you take the sense in America, 1 in 59 children has autism, but this is just 1 in 150 children in the year 2000. What happened in between these 20 years? For the past 2 decades, we are getting more and more children with autism spectrum disorder. Can you guess the reason? Can you guess the reason why it is increasing nowadays? Give your guess, participants. More diagnosis strategy. No, my question is why nowadays we are getting more children with autism? Yes, stress. Stress to whom? Please, brave. Stress to the children or stress to the parents? Digital devices using kids. Parent. Okay, very good. Both. Okay, Pranesh. Okay. Yes, of course. So if you go back, you can see that everyone used to interact with child in a family. So if you have a family with great parents and parents, they used to spend most of the time to interact with the child, even if the child is 1 month old. Am I right? They used to talk and they used to do something in front of the child. But nowadays, when the lifestyle is changing, both parents used to go for work and even they don't have time to spend with them. And when a child with autism behavior wants to interact with her mother or father, they will spend time, but at certain stage they will lose their temper, they will lose their patience. So they don't have patience when the child asks the same questions repetitively. Am I right? I'm not complaining all the parents, but it's quite nature when the parents are tired of asking repeatedly the same question, and that time they will they lost their patience. But if you go for the artificial intelligence based robots or machines, they have the patience to interact with the children repeatedly for more than 5 hours or 6 hours. Let's go back to my slide. So parents and doctors face a different dilemma when it comes to detecting and treating autism spectrum disorder. It is very important to diagnose autism as early in a child's development as possible. Starting treatment for autism, excuse me, somebody has unmuted. Okay. Starting treatment for autism at an age of 18 to 24 months can increase a child's IQ by up to 17 points, in some cases, moving them into the average child IQ range of 90 to 110 or above it. So, thus, it's significantly improving their quality of life. AI to screen for autism in children. So, nowadays, AI will transform the lives of children with autism. It helps to improve the difficult problem of early autism detection by combining the mobile devices with power of machine learning and computer vision. Together, these technologies create a faster, less expensive, more reliable, and more accessible system to screen children for autism. This method has not only led to new insights about autism, but it could also help doctors evaluate patients for other behavioral disorders. Developing an autism screening app. So it is very important to develop an autism screening app. Mobile based app which will interact with the parents, doctors, and child, or we can create some robots and we can buy that robot which will engage your autism children every day. So babies who go on to develop autism typically don't pay attention to social cues. I got some response from the participant side. They don't pay attention have eye contact, right? That is most important. If you observe the autism children, they don't give you the eye contact. If you talk to them, they will see somewhere else. And normally, they love to play with toys rather than interacting with human beings. So some of them have skirted social behavior or social communication, poor social communication. Yes, it's true. So they smile less, particularly in response to even positive social events. So a mobile app screens the behavior of children by playing a movie with a social stimulus. For example, a woman telling nursery rhymes on one half of the screen and with non-social stimulus on the other half of the screen. For example, a spinning top. Meanwhile, this device camera tracks the child's look, head movements, smile, and other facial expressions. Here, the challenge is to convert the facial movements data into meaningful events. So, this is one of the instances where AI goes to work. Developing an AI autism screening app. Amazon Web Services and tools called TensorFlow and PyTorch are used to build machine learning that connect children's expressions and eye movements to the appropriate human emotions and attentions. Even cloud computing tools are used to save our sensitive healthcare data. For example, hope you guys have smartphone, right? Are you aware of the Google's Autism AI? Google has an autism app. Are you aware of that? If you have yours, check it. Go to Play Store and check Autism AI. Please don't try to use that app and don't download it. Just check in your Play Store. Let me wait for a few seconds. Check your Play Store. Search Autism AI. Can I wait for a few seconds? Go to Play Store and check Autism AI. Search Autism AI. So Google has an Autism AI. Okay, it's okay. No problem. It takes some time. Yeah. Mostly children gadgets, buddy bot. Yes, I'm going to come to this point, Mr. Pranesh. Yes, Mr. Pranesh. We have some buddy bot. Yeah. Tech Mandra. Yeah, you have referred. Yes. Don't use because if you use that, it will be recorded in the cloud. So it will be taken care for the healthcare consideration. So don't use unnecessarily. So this, but let me explain what will be in that particular app, because I have experimented that app for one child who has autism here in Nigeria. So just I want to give you what will be in that Autism AI. Actually, it has questionnaire. A set of questionnaires are there for 4 different people. Number one, for the parent, maybe father or mother. And number two, any other family member. And a questionnaire for school teacher. And number four, physician, for a doctor. So there are 4 different people. Those can have a set of questionnaires, and based on their answers, that app will give you whether your child has autism or your child is normal. Because it will ask you first to enter age of your child. Because based on the age of your child, the set of questionnaires will be changed. I hope you guys understand. So for 18 months old child, they have a different set of questionnaire. If your child is 6 years old, then they will expect certain kind of behavior from 6-year-old child. So they have another set of questionnaire. So what I want to try here is, if you go for traditional method, it will take more time, right? they have to print out the questionnaire and they have to answer it and they have to collect all together, and finally the physician come to a conclusion. But if you go for this kind of mobile apps, it will reduce your time. For example, it will just take 2 minutes for every participants. For parent, it will take 2 minutes, and for teacher, it will take 2 minutes. So maximum within 10 minutes, they can come to a conclusion. And you so surprisingly, the AI app gives you the absolute answer. So based on this, the physician is going to evaluate the child and used to prescribe the medicines. Normally, why we are going to introduce AI is to avoid most of the medicines. So if you interact with the child more and more, they don't need of taking medicines. They need attention from human being. That's all. So when it is not possible from human being society, then we can give it through some artificial based robots and AI apps. So there are some apps I'm going to show you in this slide. I'm sorry. ML and computing vision technology allowed the researchers to study autism more quickly and more children. I hope you understand. It allows to study autism more quickly and as well as with more number of children. Typically, autism studies involve 50 to 100 children. But if you're going to use this kind of app, the behavioral data of about 1,700 children collected in a single study. So, what is behind most treatments for autism? So, your psychology, psychotherapy, applied behavior analysis, developmental psychology. So, there are some developmental therapies for autism. So, these therapies works on autism's core deficits, including problems with social and communication skills. They are tailored to the individual child and are often administered by parents. So there are some kind of therapies, example, flow time, relationship development interventions, and sunrise. What does it do for people with autism? So psychologists are often involved in the process of diagnosing both children and adults with autism. They may also recommend appropriate treatment programs and support the process of evaluation, benchmarking, and ongoing assessment. And there are some other psychologists called developmental and child psychologist, school psychologist, and behavior psychologists. So the school psychologist means in every school they have countries like America, they have psychologists in every school. So periodically they used to assess the children. Maybe weekly once they used to interact with the children and they used to observe their behavior. So behavioral psychologists means they need some kind of trainings. Only the trained psychologists will do and observe the behaviors of the children, and it is the most important characteristics of a child which will determine whether it is autism or not. So behavioral psychologist plays the major role with autism detections. So let's move on to our major part, AI to diagnose and treat autism. So AI is used to diagnose autism and help people on the autism spectrum to improve social, communication, and emotional skills. Diagnosis of autism through the use of AI is now reality. AI-based therapies are development and show promise. While some types of AI therapies, such as those that require is available at a reasonable cost. At the end of this webinar, I want to play some video with a robot. Then AI-based autism apps are now downloadable for any smartphone. I hope you have seen the Autism AI app in the Google Play Store. So many apps are there. I will give you the links at the end. So why and how AI is used and treat autism? So delay in traditional approach is the first case. So AI is used to diagnose autism a form of AI called helps better able to human beings to spot relevant patterns. Deep learning is a type of machine learning that is actually based on artificial neural networks. These types of programs is a good way to provide evaluators with confirmation of diagnosis and suggest for further evaluations. AI-powered life skill tools. There are few companies pioneering methods to diagnose children with using AI. Autism. So researchers reported that robots programmed using AI can also help children with autism to develop the social skills they need to communicate more effectively. So in the next few slides, I'm going to show you some example robots that are highly used in developed countries. SoftBank robotics. These are human robotics. These are about 2 feet tall and look like science fiction style androids. They are capable of by changing the color of their eyes, moving their arms, and changing the tone of their voice. Children with autism often respond more positively to humanoid robot than to a human therapist because humanoid robots have unlimited passions and they are able to repeat the same cues in the same way over and over in a repeated pattern. Robot. Then Qtro robot, a humanoid social robot. It is designed to help children with autism to learn social skills. Therapists can easily program the robot for a special set of skills and instructions to tailor learning for the individual patient. Children with autism have oversensitivity issues when interacting with other human beings, since they are unable to interpret the non-verbal communication that is often central to interactions with another human being. So children with autism can focus on learning the robot instructor without any distractions. Because I already told you, they are more of interested to play with toys. So robo is like a toy. So they love to interact with robots rather than the human beings. So when they are interacting with the robots, the robo will study their behaviors and the study will help the physician to come an conclusion about the children. So another important one, Empower Me. Empower Me is a product. It's like a smart glass. So it runs on any smart glasses. When a child or an adult wears the glasses, it sees and hears special feedback geared toward the situation. So the digital coach helps the wearer to interpret facial expressions of emotions, when to look at people, and gives feedback of wearer's own state of stress or anxiety. It allows someone with autism to function better independently out in the world. One of the first products to allow a person with autism to interact effectively in a traditional workplace setting. I have a link for viewing this kind of guidelines, Brain Powers Empower link. I will share you the link at the end of this session. If you spend some time to view this Brain Powers Empower Me product, how the smart class works, etc. AI apps for autism. So as I told earlier, if you go for the robots, these are so we can have some other alternatives like autism apps on the market that support behavioral therapy and learning, but most are relatively simple logic tools for following a set of rules and earning points. So behavioral imaging is an app. It uses a system called Naturalistic Observation Diagnostic Assessment. This tool is an app which allows parents to upload videos of their children for observation. So initially, clinicians watch the videos before making a diagnosis. The company has started AI like algorithms to observe and categorize behaviors. The algorithms would not diagnose the children, but might point clinicians to specific behaviors that might otherwise has been missed. I mean, it will point out certain behaviors which will help the physicians to come to come for some conclusion about the children. Another product is Cogna. This tool can use without the involvement of trained evaluator. It reviews answers to multiple choice questions as well as videos of the child. There are so many apps. Every app has its own features. Anete AI app for autism is one of the first AI apps offered a simple, no-cost iPhone download. That means free iPhone download. There is a step-by-step list that takes it from easy to more advanced skills. Then autism buddy bot. Somebody has answered in the chat box. They engaged with buddy bot. Yes, you're right. So the best AI companion for an autism children is autism buddy bot. This participation in this study has 3 steps. Completing a survey. I have already explained you with the autism AI what kind of questionnaires they will have, etc. Then recording brief conversation between caregiver and child. Then third step, interacting with mobile app called BuddyBot. So BuddyBot is a talking AI companion for autism children that adaptively converses with participants to potentially identify weakness and improve their conversational skills, such as reducing preservative and repetitive speech. So how can AI help with autism diagnosis? So far we have seen that I already told you 1 in 5 children in US are living with a health disorder. Only 21% of those children who are diagnosed receive needed treatment. Often parents have to wait 1 to 3 years to receive a proper and accurate diagnosis and an individualized treatment plan for their children. So this normal traditional approach takes time. So for the last 15 years, the average age of one particular group of patients, those with autism, the diagnosis has remained unchanged at 4 years. So it is very, very important to detect the autism in the early stage. So in the first years of life, we are missing the window when treatments have the greatest impact on brain development. So in the age of innovation, AI help clinicians improve the speed of autism diagnosis and allow children and families who live with autism to begin treatment programs during the critical period of early childhood. How does the diagnostic tool work for children and parents? So the parents use the app to download the answers to a set of questions, similar to the way they would answer questions at the specialist office. They upload a few short videos of child's natural behavior at home. So the pediatrician makes the final diagnostic decision, combining the result of diagnostic with their patient content, history, and experience. How does this therapeutic tool work for the child? In the same way, brains have the Empower Me tool. It has a Google Glass. If the child wears that glass, then it will see a newly different world. You know, the virtual reality and augmented realities plays the roles. So the game-like apps connect to the cloud where AI is used to produce quick insights for the children, their parents, and teachers. So in the picture, till head to select. So one picture, one smiley, one is not happy, the happy face. Another one is sad face. So if you ask the autism children to select the one, it depends on his condition of the behavioral activity. So if you choose the right one, then it's an what do you say? It's an improvement in the child's development. So we are giving some environment to the child where he can see the real world environment through the app. So if you there is a company, Articon is an IT sector provider who used to hire autism people. So in fact, a majority of Articon's employees are people with autism. So even people with autism have some intelligence to do certain tasks. For example, we can assign routine works. I already told you they always love to prefer their own interest in routine works. So if you assign some kind of data entry every day or some kind of programming, they will come and do the same routine work every day, and they will have the interaction with the people. So after coming up with this Oticon company, nowadays a large technology companies like Microsoft and Google are making accommodations for people with autism. So this is a good sign to autism people. So they are also recognized with the world, even they have some disability behavior. So this is just the beginning. Future is bright for people with autism. The age of AI is leading in a new way of technological advancement, release a new kind of freedom and independence in the lives of people with autism. With the right help, people with autism can thrive. With the right help, parents of children with autism can dream of a brighter future for their children. With more people realizing the potential of this untapped workforce, accommodation for people with autism in the workplace can potentially become the standard in the next 10 years. We are expecting it. We pray for the references that I have given. Thank you for your attention, and give me a few seconds. I just want to play one video with robots. Are you guys some window? Some participants are. Hello. Are you guys able to see a new screen, Mr. Karthik? Can you answer me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it's visible, ma'am.
So let me play this video. You please have a
Yes,
look on it.
sure, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
This is not a death machine or an evil toy come to life. In fact, it's not a toy at all.
Hi, my name is Milo, and I am the next generation of therapy for children with autism.
I'm Daisy Rosario, and I'm on a mission to. This is Troy, autism when he was 2. Now 19, Troy still lives with a wide range of autistic disorders. He's not alone. Autism is the fastest growing developmental disorder in the US, with currently 1 in 68 American children affected. People with autism spectrum disorders, or ASD, can have trouble with language learning, social cues, and creative play. Troy, like a lot of people with ASD, is very sensitive to the world around him. This is Troy's dad, Chuck.
Hi, you want to go first? You go first.
Chuck has seen firsthand how wide-reaching the effects of autism can be.
He has sight sensory issues, smell sensory issues, touch sensory issues, hearing sensory. He has all of them.
Another effect of that sensitivity, according to many psychologists, is a preoccupation with objects.
A lot of times children and adults with autism have what we call areas of restricted interest. And that means that they have a preoccupation with something that really gets in the way of their ability to function.
For Troy, that's everything from old cell phones to chess.
Pretty much, he loves everything Lego. We spend a lot of money on Legos.
And who doesn't love Lego? But in order for Troy to feel comfortable in society, he needs to feel comfortable with other people outside of his Lego Quickie Mart. For people like Troy, technology may be the key to bridging the gap between the material world and the human connection. Which leads us back to Milo. Here at an autism treatment center in Dallas, Dr. Carolyn Garber has a lot of experience with autistic children.
You've been working in this field for 40 years?
40 years.
Wow.
Carolyn was one of the first people to prototype robotherapy with autistic children. The response to Milo was pretty immediate.
They wanted to touch him. They wanted to talk to him. They wanted to see what he would do. They wanted to take him and put him in their classrooms. Like Troy asked me, want to work with Milo? Cool. I think what we're going to try today first is let's practice the calm down module real quickly, okay? Okay.
Milo is a great complement to a human therapist or teacher. He's clear, he's calm, he's consistent.
He took some of my calm down too.
Carolyn and Milo use everything from simple games to counting and emotional exercises. Carolyn selects lessons on a tablet, and then Milo keeps things interesting by combining them with videos and questions.
Nice.
You're right.
Good job.
Milo and Carolyn are a good pair. Milo is reliable, and Carolyn is there to help facilitate with a human touch. People with ASD can have trouble interpreting social cues, like smiles or frowns. Some of Milo's lessons are designed to help specifically with that, by demonstrating facial expressions and emotional cues, and asking what they mean.
They don't understand the perspectives of others. They don't understand emotions. It's not that they don't feel, it's that they don't know how to express it. One of the things we're doing with the emotional modules is try to teach them, how to identify an emotion.
I'm surprised by how expressive he
People
was.
are blown away. I mean, when they see him, and he smiles and he can frown, and he's got a lot of. He can be angry. He can have a panic attack. So we're building all of those. We can have a dance party. We have a dance party. Yeah, dance party.
Milo was developed by a small startup based in Dallas. Here at RoboKind, Fred Margolin says that right now, the company's sole focus is helping children with autism.
There was a lot of literature that children with autism related to certain robots with faces and things like that.
RoboKind is responsible for the tech behind everything Milo says or does. They designed Milo, programmed his animation and dialogue.
Milo speaks at 82% of normal speed.
I hope you will help us change the world.
That's very important because a lot of children with autism have problems perceiving language up to a point.
Autism is still a mystery in many ways. We don't know how it develops, and we can't fully account for why it's on the rise. There are a lot of research-based solutions that can help the current autistic population right now. And Milo's not the only robot. There's Romibo, who's fuzzy and tells stories. And there are companion robots like Now. There's a lot of finger-pointing in the fight to end autism. But if we could take just some of that energy and use it to help the autistic population that already exists, that effort could really go a long way.
Me, I want to know what the causes are, but I can't worry about them because I've got the population already. I want to be able to help the people that I see every day.
Hope you guys have seen the video. This is a small example. I have so many videos, but due to time constraint, I just want to share the links to Dr. Karthik. You can get it from him. Just have some time and try to watch those videos, how the autism children are struggling in the world. Excuse me. So you can watch them. Around the world, there are thousands of autism international organizations available. Even if you see in India, there are 10 international autism organizations available. Other than that, there are some private and non-profit organizations are there to help autism children. So let me share those links to Mr. Karthik. You have some time and please watch those videos. And if possible, you please try to contribute your time or money to autism children. Thank you for your patience.
It's a wonderful sections for us. Thank you, ma'am. If you have any queries,
You can type your queries in the chat box.
Thank you. We cannot do great things on this earth, only small things with great love. Mother Teresa. I like invite Head Department of Computer Application, Mr. Session Santrakshi ma'am, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Jubilant evening to one and all present here, most respected chairman and secretary of Nanda Educational Institutions, Hero, respected and most distinguished chiefest of the day, Dr. Sangeeta ma'am, Associate Professor, Department of Mathematical and Computer Science, University of Africa, Nigeria, our Honorable Principal, Dr. M. Kobalagishan, our respected Administrative Officer, Dr. V.C. Srinivasan, respected faculty members, and my dear friends. It is the biggest day in the history of our Department of Computer Applications, Nanda Arts and Science College. Today, we hosted the biggest education conference through online. It seems to be great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all who have helped us in making this webinar a very resounding success. First of all, I would like to express my hearty vote of thanks our chief guest, Dr. Sangeeta ma'am, for gracing today's webinar. Thank you, ma'am, for your very thought-provoking and interesting address. I would like to submit my deep sense of gratitude to our principal, Dr. M. Kobalakrishnan, for accepting to give welcome address and valuable guidance for grand success of this webinar. I also extend my vote of thanks to Dr. V.C. Srinivasan, Administrative Officer, Nanda Arts and Science College, for his guidance and moral support in each and every step of the success of this webinar. Dear ladies and gentlemen, a event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling weeks ago. It requires planning and a bird's eye for details. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by the team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues of Computer Application Department, Nanda Arts and Science College, who know their job and are result oriented. Not but not least, the success without the participant is not possible. I thank you all the participants who support for this grand success of this webinar during the pandemic duration. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for all for your kind presence and support for this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Savita.